Jordan here with more Manly Man Jeep Adventures. Thank you for following along with me, and if you haven't been, then thanks for nothing. If you're interested, we'll look at the Distributor next. The manual describes that to adjust the Distributor correctly, if you've taken these things out and turned the timing chain, is to take the number 1 spark plug out, and then in that hole you see if there's a puff of air when you turn the harmonic balancer around, and that lets you know that it's near top dead center, and then you want to adjust that harmonic balancer there to where that mark matches top dead center. And then you get the rotor aligned so that it matches the number 1 firing order on the Distributor cap for the number 1 spark plug. So what's up next for me is to take some sandpaper to those metal connections, all except for the end of the rotor, which has a plastic coating on it to protect it, and get everything nice and cleaned up and aligned and put in properly. And yay, we got the Distributor all lined up and put in correctly. And we got the pulley on with 30 foot-pounds of torque, and now we're back to basically where we were when the car was purchased, except for the timing chain cover is in good shape now and not broken. So now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put it together from here. Got the water pump in. Got the power steering pump in. Got the alternator in. Next I put on the fan. Didn't totally tighten it down, but I got it on there, and then the belts just kind of loose also. I looked into getting them tightened down, but it got dark, so I didn't get very far. Then overnight I got to thinking, I think there's a water hose that needs to go in the water pump underneath that stuff. So I've taken a look at it, and sure enough there is, so I'll turn the camera around here and show you what I'm looking at. Here's the fan, and the belts on there just kind of loose. I've taken down that alternator on the left side there to try to loosen that bracket and stuff so I can get up in there. You can see there's this hose that needs to connect to the port on the water pump right in the center of the picture there, and I'll let you know how it goes. Well, I managed to get it on there, which you can see in the center of the picture. I haven't tightened down that hose clamp yet, but I did get it on. I think I put the hose clamp on in such a way that I'll tighten it down after I get the brackets back on, and it'll line up where I can get a screwdriver in there, I think. It's annoying that I didn't get that done first, I guess, but I don't know. I had a hard time figuring out how the brackets went, so maybe it's just as well for me to have gotten it all put in first and then just take it back apart a little bit so that I can get that hose on there. Anyway, it's all part of the journey, and next up is getting those brackets back in and then getting that hose tightened down. It wasn't easy, but if you look in the center of the picture there, you can see the screw for the hose clamp that holds on that water hose. I'm going to push the belts down here so you can kind of see how that hose is back up in there, and it's on real nice and snug. And next I'm going to go ahead and put the brackets back together to get back to where we can start to try to tighten up the belts. Alright, I got the belts on nice and tight. The air conditioning unit I left out of the loop because I don't really use air conditioning, and I don't know if it works anyway, probably not. So no use having it drain power. The next thing, as far as I know, is to put the radiator in. I looked at it and I think it'll probably be easier to go ahead and take the fan back on out and to get the radiator in. I left it kind of loose in the first place, so it'll be easy to pull it back on out and work on the radiator. Oh yeah, it definitely helped a lot to get the fan out of there to put the radiator in. It went ahead and went in just fine, but I think having the fan in there would have made it murder. So we did get it in, and the next thing to do now, as far as I know, is to work on getting the coolant hoses put in and hooked up. Alright, I got the hoses on and thought I'd show you what they look like before I put the fan on. And I got the fan put back in, and yay, as far as I know, everything is now the way that it should be. Next up is to hook up the battery and put in the fluids, and we'll see if we can get this thing started. So now I'm working on the oil. As far as I know, this is the correct oil filter. I got it from a Wagoneer parts place, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little priming oil in there. Normally you'd use motor oil for this, but since we're doing a special startup here, I'm going to go ahead and kind of just prime it with some oil stabilizer. It's not a lot anyway, so we'll see how it goes on the vehicle next. Well, no, that didn't work. It wouldn't thread on correctly, so I have another one here. I'm going to try it and see how it is. It's a little bit hard to tell. I think I got this one for the red Jeep and never ended up putting it on, so we'll see if this one works. Yes, it went on just fine. I think that I actually had them mixed up, and this is the one I got from the Wagoneer place, and the other one was one that I had picked up for the red Jeep along the way. And I'm going to get this one nice and hand tight, and stay tuned. Next up is to put in this Marvel Mystery Oil. It's supposed to work wonders for old engines like this. Now we're going to turn the crankshaft around 20 times by hand to mix the motor oil through those engine components. Having turned the crankshaft 20 times by hand, now I'm going to top off the oil with this stuff. I got the Jeep put together the way that it would be under normal driving conditions and got the oil put in, and up next is to put in the distilled water and antifreeze that I've gotten for it. And then I'm going to be working on getting it started. So it seems like this is a good place to stop this video, and I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one.